This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Today is Patrick Cullen, the CEO for Katoro Gold PLC. Great to have you with us today, Patrick.
Lovely to meet you, Pam, and very pleased to be here.
Lovely to have you with us. Now, let's start by you giving us the elevator pitch on what is Katoro Gold all about?
Okay, so Katoro Gold's been around for some time. It's been focused on gold and nickel projects in Tanzania. It has a strong Southern African sort of focus in the past, I suppose you'd say. In recent months, in February of this year, Katoro Gold's basically had a change in board, a new chairman, new investors, quite a substantial investment in February, with a stated view to basically reinvigorating the company, focusing on strategic metals with a more global outlook, and basically bringing a whole new offering to the investor. We've got quite a substantial following. We've got some high net worth investors. And I think we're in a really good, it's a really good position with a lot of, I suppose there's a lot of eyes on Katoro actually in the last few months, waiting to, see what we're about and what we're going to deliver.
Yeah. So what was it that attracted you to the role?
Well, just that, basically, a fresh slate, established teams in the Southern African context, and partnerships. We have a joint venture project with Power Metals, for example. And very much a company that's focused on a fast moving, quickly get onto new opportunities, and obviously with that investment that I saw. So that's really the key thing.
Yeah. So since you've been involved, I know that there's been a bit of restructuring going on. Mm-hmm. So what's the strategy for restructuring the business? Where's the focus going to be and why?
Okay, so we have had a change of board. We've come in basically looking to sort of minimize costs, maximize our expenditure in the ground, I suppose you'd say. What we've done is we've retained key people. Look, we've got people working in different jurisdictions, and we've got a lot of in-house, and a lot of that comes with me, but a lot of in-house technical know-how, as well as those kind of networks that allow us to sort of develop opportunities. We're currently focused on bringing new projects as well as going back and looking at what's been achieved in some of the legacy projects. I could talk a little bit more about that later in the interview, but specifically new acquisitions, low cost acquisitions, and global.
Yes. So right now, I mean, today in your RNS. You've said that Katoro moves into the uranium exploration with its first acquisition through staking of the White Pine Uranium Project in Ontario, Canada. So tell us a little bit more about this. Is uranium the main focus now?
I would say uranium is a focus, but we're basically focused on strategic metals, so metals that we see associated with the green transformation. Okay, and specifically, I would say uranium, yes, uranium for nuclear power and for baseload in that new green sort of transformation. We see that ongoing and very substantial and solid case for uranium going forward, and then possibly or probably copper again as a metal associated with, for example, the EVs and just energy reticulation. Gold as well, but for now, uranium and uranium, because this was the first opportunity that's really presented itself, and I'd like to go into some more detail as to why. So specifically, we're not tied to Southern Africa. We have a lot of experience there, and we have a footprint there, but we do know our way around other jurisdictions and North America, Canada, Europe as well. Ontario, as a lot of your audience will know, is an exceptional jurisdiction. A lot of strong mining support. Almost 30 mines in operation currently. 15 no uranium mines currently, but 15 historically in the in the province of Ontario. Mm-hmm. So there is a track record in terms of production, and that is up until the 1990s. And to go into say maybe some more detail about this specific white pine in terms of why this is presented. Well, really, this has just come through, an opportunity that presents itself in terms of on-state ground. And I think I need to just emphasize the difference between acquiring a project through, some transaction with an existing holder or such. You can get into some high costs and in terms of, future payments and such, which really, expand the value of that project. For us, or sorry, not the value, rather the entry cost. For us, we've been able to stake in Ontario at $50 per unit per cell as you go in. So for basically less than £11,000, we're picking up a substantial area, 800 square kilometers, okay, just in kilometers, and in an area where there's a lot of mining to the west and to the northwest, Red Lake and the gold. There's base metal mining to the south, but literally 5 kilometers from the Trans-Canada Highway. So low cost of entry, and then in terms of operations, we've got a low cost in terms of access. Mm-hmm. Most mines operating, or most exploration projects operating in Ontario are jurisdictions of this nature. Saskatchewan, for example, you have fly in, fly out helicopter for everything. From everything from the drilling equipment through to men and materials. Yes. In this case, we're literally driving. We're driving off road 5 kilometers from a highway that's open year round. So that's really important to establish that. So it ticks a lot of boxes from us in terms of what we get for that 50 Canadian dollars per unit, or as I say, the 800 square kilometers, is actually an exceptional amount of historic work. So we're already going in with historic work that, that's been collated over the years. And that goes from government work as well as some very early stage exploration that was completed in the last kind of uranium cycle when, uranium was peaking back in 2007. But as far as we know, actually no boots on the ground. And that's important because, that's obviously something that we'll be considering in terms of next steps, as well as desktop work. We have a phenomenal amount of data. We have airborne radiometrics. We have this data that was collected by the government. And then in terms of why this is so attractive from a technical standpoint, look, the system that they employ in this area is that they fly around with a helicopter. This is the government now, Geological Survey of Ontario. They fly around with a helicopter. They drop a tool, it's like a spear basically, into each of the lakes. Literally, they go from lake to lake, and the whole, for hundreds and hundreds of kilometers is just, the ground is pine trees basically interspersed with little lakes. Generally not that deep, 2, 3, 4 meters, maybe 10 meters, some deeper than that. They drop this spear in. They take some mud from the bottom of the lake, and then they analyze it. So they covered in these surveys that we've reviewed 15,000 square kilometers, quite a substantial piece of ground, right?
Yeah.
4,429 samples to be exact. And of that, 29 of those samples are in the area that we've staked. And of that, the 20 samples are amongst and the highest uranium grades in that entire 15,000 square. So frankly, when I'm pinching myself this morning when I finally see this RNS go through, because I'm thinking, right, this has been an opportunity, I think, that's been overlooked. Someone took a cursory look at it back in 2007, and here we are, 24, and it was available. So, and I think the reason is a lot of focus on gold in this area, to the north of us, just to the north of us and west of us, up to Red Lake, and then a lot of lithium in pegmatite exploration in this area. So I think we've been quite lucky in that respect.
So you yourselves, you will be focusing on the uranium in the area, is that right?
Absolutely. But okay, yes. And as we've been saying in RNSs, we've been having discussions in other well, we haven't really been specific, but we've just been having other conversations. So obviously, when we're in an area, we're looking at a number of things. But this is how this has basically emerged. I suppose that's probably the best way to explain that.
So as you've just explained, it's looking very favourable. What's the plan of action now? Now, you mentioned that there's been no boots on the ground previously, but
that's our knowledge. Yes, we have the sampling data. That's government data. We have airborne radiometrics, so geophysical data that's been collected in the past and at some significant cost. I'm planning to expand on that in later RNSs and presentations to follow.
Yes.
It'll be largely like we have this radiometric data. There'll be a lot of analysis to do on that. We have a lot of mapping data. And I say mapping, it's done from aerial photography. A lot of it.
Yeah.
Very useful because it gives us, it lets us to really ascertain, if we see something high in uranium, has it come in from somewhere else, or is it from that area, which is what we're looking for. We were looking for something that's kind of in situ or close to source. So that's, and our first impressions are that is the case, or at least that's what we're going to investigate in detail. We will have some boots on the ground, and that there will be snow in this area.
Of course,
winter comes soon in this part of the world.
Yeah,
but I'm expecting that we will have at least a first look. Some rock chip. See if there's any outcrop, and just generally, have a good look around the area before the first snows come, and then, with a view to seeing what do we learn from all of this, and where do we go in the spring.
Right. Okay. So you're researching, you're looking at all the data before winter comes, and then and then you'll be, from what you're saying to me, Patrick, then you'll be ready for the boots on the ground from spring.
No, we'll get in now before the first snows come. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I'll get there personally, but we've developed some good contacts in that area. So we're just setting up stuff. Very low cost, and I think that's the key thing in the first instance. So we're maintaining our working capital. We're looking at other opportunities as well. We think that, we know that there's other opportunities that are becoming available. There's other opportunities available, and we're not just linked to this. This is a small cost of entry. If we can do more like this, perfect.
Yes.
If we do something more substantial, that'll be, that will follow. We'll see how that goes.
So what's happening with your legacy projects in the company? So, for example, Heniti, I mean, are they is that still the focus there as well?
I won't say that the focus is on Heniti. The focus is to get the maximum value out of it. Heniti had a very specific history in terms of a track through, the exploration that was done there and what led to drilling. Yes. The drilling didn't find in that case, nickel sulfides that they were seeking. However, it did provide a lot more information, and it certainly indicated that a review and a rethink about what had been learned there had to be done. And there's a vast amount of information that's come out of it. Yeah. So that's in progress in terms of collating all of that and going through with a different, like, new eyes, but also with a different approach. And news will come out about that in time. But that, for the moment, this right now, this is going to be something that I want to get moving, at least certainly over the winter, and follow up with further news on further activity.
Yeah, well, it sounds like, from what you've told us today, it sounds very exciting. But tell us, Patrick, what's the investment case? What would you say to people looking to invest? What's the opportunity here?
Well, okay, so you have a restructured Katoro with good backing, I believe. We're a very small market cap, so there's certainly a huge amount of opportunity for growth within our own value. So in the same way that we're looking for low cost of entry in terms of our projects, an investor who's looking for a low cost of entry in terms of investment and looking to see some serious growth or potential growth, I think that's really what we're trying to put on offer here. We also have a board and a group of people that are motivated by shareholding and by options, so that's important. We are small, and we're planning to really deliver.
That's wonderful, Patrick. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today at Stockbox, and no doubt we're going to be speaking to you again soon as we continue to follow your journey.
Okay, thank you very much, Pam. Look forward to that. Great.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like, or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.